there, and welcome back to the Empower Her podcast, where we give female entrepreneurs the tools, strategies, and confidence to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Philippa Channer, and I'm excited for today's episode because we're diving into a topic that has the potential to transform how you connect with your customers and grow your business. Now, joining me today, I've got Barbara and Ernesto. They're experts in leveraging geofencing technology to boost sales and improve customer engagement. Together, they've helped businesses from small startups to mid-sized companies achieve results. For example, like 62% customer retention rate. So that is amazing. Their passion is making advanced business strategies accessible to everyone, no matter the size of your business. So we're going to explore how you can use location-based insights to optimize your sales efforts, understand your customers better, and to turn engagement into in-person results. So whether you're new to geofencing or just looking for fresh ideas to improve your strategy, you're going to love the practical tips that Barbara and Ernesto are going to bring to us today. So grab a notebook and let's dive in. I can't wait for you to meet them. Okay, guys, I'm so excited that you're here to join the conversation. So please introduce yourself officially. I gave a little tidbit about who you are, but please let the audience know who you are and the value you have to offer today.
Hi, I'm Barbara Wardell, and we've been doing this for a couple years now, and we do geofencing, and we have a great background between the both of us in the medical industry, as well as insurance and sales and marketing. So I think our combo works really well.
Nice, yes. Covers a wide range.
Yes.
Yeah, we complement each other, definitely our overlapping skills. So my name is Ernesto Cullari, and Barbara and I are both co-founders of Cullari Wardell. And we are a geofencing ad agency. And why that's important to the audience is because the future of any sort of communication and any sort of marketing and advertising is local, even if you're a large corporation, you still
want to bring in that local traffic.
Yeah. And each community will have different messages that resonate with them because they have different pain points that your business, big or small, can address. And what makes geofencing the right technology and the right platform to use for that is because you're able to draw virtual fences around areas of interest. And it could be a competitor, it could be your own location, it could be a few blocks from wherever your brick and mortar location is. Or if you don't even have a brick or mortar location, but you want to develop, say you offer services, even if they're online services, you can draw a radius around a community. You can then send ads to their phone. And if you're trying to measure foot traffic, you're then able to measure the results that come back to your location. But if you're promoting services, say you do some sort of planning or you do some sort of coaching, you could draw a radius around the area that you want to serve, and then you could deliver ads to their mobile devices or to their smart TVs, and then you can gain an educated audience that way.
And your phone is prime location right now.
Yes.
It's like real estate.
Okay, good. Because I feel like a lot of my listeners may not fully understand what geofencing is and how it could help their businesses. So this is very helpful. And yeah, a lot of my businesses are going to be those home-based businesses that are offering services, but they're hyper-focused on specific areas. So this is really good for them.
And then geofencing is very hyper-focused.
Yes.
So if you think like 10 years ago, if you had a business and you offered a service, maybe the first thing would enter your head is, I need to do an email campaign or direct mail or something like that, like Every Door Direct with the post office. And then, I can recall 15 years ago when I did a Every Door Direct campaign. I believe it was like $1 a mail piece. But fast forward, geofencing is like an Every Door Direct campaign, except instead of costing $1 per piece of mail that you deliver, you're talking cents. And instead of delivering in the mail or an email, you're delivering it to their mobile device. But instead of hitting every door in a zip code, you're only speaking and communicating to the people who've already shown, either based on their physical location or some of the things they're searching for online, they've already shown an affinity for your service. So that's why it is like Every Door Direct if it were much model improved for the 21st century. So
Okay.
that's exactly what geofencing is. It's the 21st century and the future of location-based or local-based marketing.
So now we're using that analogy. So we're not paying to send cards to houses that aren't even interested in our services. We are very focused on only paying for the people who've already shown some type of interest in what we offer.
Yes, this is like the other day, I just got a little big flyer. It was actually really big for the gym that I already go to.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's such a waste of money.
Yes.
If anyone in my house is going to go, because I go, not because they get a flyer.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's
And that was a
something.
chain.
Yeah.
So you could see the waste. We don't want to
Yeah.
waste. We want people to come in and we want to do it for the least amount of dollars and per site.
Yes. Okay, good. Because, yeah, that's the same thing with a lot of our home-based businesses. They've got limited budgets. And so where we can make the most impact with the money that we can spend, it's going to be helpful.
Yeah, because we all need traffic. We all
Yes.
need traffic into our business,
Yes.
whether it's foot or to our website.
So it's interesting you brought up that point. You're for a small business. So we all start somewhere, right? I started, I don't know how many years ago, just doing Instagram marketing and, I bootstrapped it. But at some point, if as a small business owner, if you're not creating first an alliances, perhaps networks, relationships, if you don't have that, then you need to be marketing and advertising. And I forget what that movie was, Glengarry Glen Ross, always be closing.
Always be closing.
Yeah, always be closing. Well, you must always be advertising or marketing or networking. So the smaller business you are, you need those relationships so that you can cross promote with each other. But if you're not growing, you're dying. You'd be amazed how many businesses they put the time in, but
No budgeting for marketing.
Yeah, no proper planning.
Yes.
So without that proper planning, without that budget.
So important. And these days, mostly, we're still not in the offices and people are still not gathering. It's slowly coming out, but most people are working from home and you started your business from home. So you're not getting out there. So if you're not reaching and going into those conventions and different things that you can get to, you got to be marketing, especially on mobile phones, because everyone's on it. This is prime real estate, and
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody
ours,
has it, from our kids to our seniors. Everybody has a mobile device and can benefit from being able to get. I like the idea that it's only going to people who have already expressed interest in this topic. So I don't like getting bombarded with a bunch of text messages and stuff that has nothing to do. Like, I've never searched for insurance. Like, why am I getting a text message every single day about health insurance? Like, clearly some things are wrong in the system, but to be able to get specific stuff about stuff I'm interested in, that's really helpful.
very important, because who wants to be? Well, Ernesto wants the boat ones coming in, though.
Yeah.
His sailboats. Don't send him a motorboat, though.
Right. Well, it's an interesting point that Barbara brought up. Anytime we have a conversation, it just seems like Facebook or, I feel like we're being spied on because, because, we'll talk about a subject, we might even be joking around about it. And then all of a sudden an ad for psoriasis of the liver or something comes up and you're like, I don't even have a liver, so how can I have cirrhosis or psoriasis?
That up.
Right. I gave it to the Chinese people that got me high on my vacation.
But that's the biggest thing, like with Facebook and Instagram and Google, you're fighting against people that are not even your competition.
Yes.
And you're spending that money to outspend each other.
Yeah.
And that's hard on a budget, especially a smaller business that's trying to make it and to expand, to fighting against people who are not even in your competition.
Yeah, you're fighting for that headline. But geofencing is not, when people are like, you identify cell phones or smartphones and then you send them an ad, is that like intrusive? In fact, this is less intrusive because a device is anonymized, whereas if you're on Instagram or Facebook, Meta has all your information.
Your name.
And it's, I don't want to get sued for saying they're spying on you.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, I believe
We're
that
not saying that.
I am actually.
If
I'm
they're
telling
not,
you right
they
now,
could.
those people are spying on you, and they're invading your privacy. I don't know how they get away with it. I guess they keep bribing government, but they seem to get away with it. Geofencing protects the privacy of the person who's receiving an ad, because when you walk into a virtual fence, even if it's a radius, say you're going by zip code for, say you're a coach and you want people within a certain zip code, you can reach people in a certain zip code, or if you want to reach people in a certain building, you can reach people in a certain building, but we anonymize their device. So we're not listening to their device. We're not spying on their camera or their microphone, and we're reaching people based on inferences that we draw. So if you're going to a hot yoga place, then we know that maybe, and we're advertising for a grocery store, high-end grocery store, that you're probably going to, if you're spending money on hot yoga, you're probably going to come to our grocery store. Or again, because a lot of the people that are in your network, they're in the service industry, meaning they're coaches, they're offering different sorts of online services. You can still target people without invading your privacy. And as Barbara was saying, you're not competing against your neighbor. We're on the wide open web, and in many different apps is where we serve your ads. And you're not going head to head in a smaller walled garden like Facebook, Instagram, and the other platforms.
And also, like, how your search history is not indicative of what you actually do every day of your life. So if you're skimming through, say, a Lamborghini, yeah, that's nice. But if you're actually in a Mercedes dealer and you're looking around, another Mercedes dealership can send that person an ad saying, "Hey, look, we got a better deal here." Yes. There's things that you can do, but they're actual customers that would potentially buy from you, and not from, say, okay, I'm actually in a Mercedes dealer and I'm going to go buy a Hyundai. Yeah. No. But if you're in a Hyundai dealership and that's what you're on, then you send them an ad.
Yeah.
Because it's not wasting, right? We're not wasting money to send to people who are not actually have an
affinity to or in the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
So you talk to people all the time, and that are startups and small business owners. What are some of the struggles that you see that they have? Because, Barbara and I have been doing this. I've been self-employed for a decade. Barbara has been a med rep like I was, and that's basically, you're working from home. So we have a lot of experience, in business. So what are the sort of the struggles that you see, and what might we help your listeners with?
So a lot of the struggles is two things, and they're connected, is one, knowing the right way to market to their clients, and two is finding them. They have a target in mind, and they would have an idea like, okay, this group would probably attend this type of event. And so they could connect with a handful of people at these events, but to reach larger numbers. A lot of the businesses too, because they're service-based businesses, sometimes their service is high ticket. So it may cost $3,000 to $8,000 to work with them. So this is not somebody that just finds you online once and says, okay, I'm going to spend that money on you. You have to build relationships with people. So yeah, finding ways to get their attention, the right people's attention quickly, efficiently, but in a way that builds relationship.
So to that pain point, let me tell you the wrong way to do it.
Okay.
And then I'll mention one of the various ways you could do it. The wrong way to do it that I see on at least social media, because it's free, right? And social media is a good place to hone your voice. That's where, as a photographer, as an ad man, that's where I really learned how to hone my skills, is on Instagram. You can look it up. It's at Ernesto Cullari on Instagram, and you will see that I've built up over 40,000 organic in niche followers, mostly in the makeup and food industries.
Okay.
So the wrong way to do it is to belong to some of these groups on Facebook, for example. And in these groups, people are like, I make websites. If you need a website, hit me up. Or I do coaching. If you need a coach, hit me up. Show, don't tell. So the first rule would be show what you do. And I maybe I'm mean, but I will troll these people all day long. I'm like, you say you'll do these things, but put up a case study, and if you distinguish yourself between the noise that's out there for free, you will start to develop an audience. So if you become a member, like Barbara and I, we're members of different groups on Facebook, and some of them we're quite established in, and others, we just kind of watch and observe what goes on. And what we observe oftentimes,
Ernesto usually. I don't have time.
But what I observe often is that people are telling and not showing. So the first thing you could do for free is start, joining the right online and real world communities. And instead of telling people what you do, address a problem and show what you do, even if it was for yourself, right? Even if you were the first, physician heal thyself, even if you were the first patient that you've ever had, at least show your work. And that's the first thing I would do. And the second thing I would do is, Barbara and I were talking earlier today, I'm constantly educating myself. I mean, even in my sleep, I'll listen to podcasts and gain information in my sleep.
That's why you talk so much.
So if you have to have that mindset as a business owner, you'll find yourself going down rabbit holes, but it's actually not wasted time. Don't get caught in the weeds. Spend some time in, going down that rabbit hole just to see what you could have learned, what you could have gained. But then the other thing is the third is, I would say, you have to put the time in. So the first thing is be positioned to network in the virtual world, in the real world, by offering value and not telling people what you do, constantly educating yourself, and then be willing to listen and then put the time in.
Balance your time.
Okay, so I guess an example of this would be, so if you find a group that meets online and does virtual networking every week, instead of just showing up and doing your 30-second introduction like everybody else does, going to the coordinator and saying, hey, I want a 1 week teach on, marketing strategy. Can I have 15 minutes to kind of show everybody some, information? And so that way you're demonstrating your value by showing up and saying, hey, here's an example of what I can do for my clients. I've helped them this way, and this is how I help them.
You have to show value, and you have to show participation. So you want others to help you grow, so you have to help them grow. And it's just like with our business, and we look at things is, if our clients grow, then we grow. So they have to be, and it's a balance too, because, growing your business, you have tons of hats. We were talking about that the other day. It's like, I'm doing way more than I used to because there's so many things that we're learning and we're growing and we're adding technology and trying to figure out, to make sure that everything is flowing properly. We're not missing something, because you can get so into the rabbit hole of just one focus. And I think it's very important that you balance your time, because you have family. And as a woman, we have tons and tons of things we got to do. Not that you don't as a man, but women, we seem to handle a little bit more juggling between kids and family life and making sure that everyone's taken care of, and then we forget about ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's valuable when you take the time and you balance that. And it's hard, but so maybe it's scheduling yourself in getting up that extra early in the morning and saying, you know what, I'm going to take that hour for myself. Maybe it's organizing your day. Maybe it's meditation so that you're calmer during the day. Or maybe it's that cup of espresso with something to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to focus on, and it could be a trade magazine or something that's, in your field that you want to learn. Ernesto reads in the morning about 3 hours in the morning, because that's why he doesn't get up, and I'm all morning long handling everything else.
Yeah.
I call him, I'm like, hey, are you up yet? He's like, I'm just getting up. But he also stays up later. I'm an early sleeper. I'm about 10 o'clock. I want to get into bed, But I think balancing is important too for your day.
And I think too, this touches on what you were saying earlier about the lack of planning and strategy when it comes to how to market the business. I feel like with something like geofencing in their strategy, especially when they're implementing it correctly, I feel like it's going to give them the ability to get back some time in their schedule. Because I feel like there's a lot of wasted time trying marketing stuff and marketing tactics that aren't really effective. And so to be able to drop all those, knowing that that's working in the back end, then they can invest some more time in education and helping them out. But that leads me to ask, when it comes to the strategy and planning, as they're finalizing the true value that they offer, who they want to, target, at what point should they incorporate geofencing into their marketing strategy?
I would say day one. It's important. I mean, only because even with some of the businesses that we do, the brick and mortar, we're doing grand openings because the faster you build that clientele coming in, it's the faster you can get that loan or that investment. It's huge in some cases, depending on what kind of business you start.
Barbara and I did a consult today where someone, even before they bought the business that they're looking at getting into, they're not yet in the industry, but they reached out to us because we do foot traffic studies. One of our partners in the industry is Unicast. They are an international leader in the location intelligence industry, and they're one of our partners. We've made considerable investment to have access to their technology. But what that enabled us to do for our client today, or our would-be client in consultation, is before he opens up this, before he assumes the lease of this retail space, we looked at the location that he's looking at. We examined the foot traffic trends that have been going on there for the last year. We looked at the retail location adjacent to him to see what kind of foot traffic they were doing, and they're up like 21%. So for me, if Barbara and I were looking to open up an office, say a podcast studio, for example, we would look at the foot traffic there, and we would see like, does this fit the demographic that we're looking to do business with? You know,
that's important.
Yeah. So advertising, at least doing the research, and what makes our company unique is that we actually do the due diligence even before we start advertising. So we're looking at like what the foot traffic trends are. But then something you just said made me think of something about in terms of when to advertise. If your advertising budget should say, a rule of thumb, perhaps 10% of your budget, and you have no experience in having hired an advertiser before or having hired an agency before, and you have no marketing background whatsoever, your time of self-education should be 10% of spent on researching advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say, well, I have to, there's a lot of garbage out there when I see people try to do their own marketing. And I hope by listening to this is helpful. Educate yourself on who's out there that's doing successful marketing in the field that you want to be in, and decide for yourself what they did right and what you could do better.
And narrow it down, niche it. Very important.
Yes.
As well as own your own website.
I would say what you just said, high five, niche it.
Yep.
And owning your own website, not allowing your agency to own it. If you do coaching, specialize in the kind of coaching you do.
Yes.
Don't be a generalist, be a specialist.
Market.
A lot of times when Barbara and I have conversations with big technology companies, we don't walk in like we're the small player we're authorities in what we do. And we tell them half the time, but we're also listening.
Yeah.
But because Barbara and I are really focused on foot traffic specifically, we go into most conversations where, hey, this is what we bring to the table. Even if we're hiring you to provide a service for our company to help us do foot traffic better or web conversions better.
We want to know what you understand and whether or not it brings value to what we do and makes it more of a niche for us, which is very important.
Yeah.
So when you're looking into things, make sure that it offers you value as well. Because sometimes I think we get caught up in, we want to start this and we just take whatever's in front of us, whatever they're offering. And I think you got to slow down and say, okay, well, where do I really want to go? It's like I always tell Ernesto all the time, you want to build that foundation to stand.
Yes.
To last. And that's so important with any business. It doesn't whether you're coaching or not coaching. Because if you're starting and you're spending all this money to set up a coaching session and a business, don't you want that legacy?
Yeah.
You don't want to spend that money and then turn around and say, oh, I didn't want. If this is really your passion, then niche it and focus.
Yeah. That's one of the things I really encourage my clients to do is to think big and think in long terms and stop making short-term reactive decisions. You've got to set yourself a goal and expectations and hopes of what your business is going to look like 10 years from now. And then every single opportunity that comes up, ask yourself, is this getting me closer to my opportunity or further away? Or is it just a distraction, a shiny little toy that's not really impacting anything? And just to make smarter decisions and stop wasting time and effort.
I know. Sometimes the world and you're so into everything else that you can't see it. So that's why it's important. Quiet your mind, figure out what you really want to do and focus. And sometimes you have to block out the distractions. Maybe it's just that one day that you get that babysitter to sit down with that baby for 1 or 2 hours and you actually can focus that 1 or 2 hours. Sometimes it actually weighs that it was worth it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think, overall, we're all in this together and we're working to all create a legacy for our families and have a better life, right? Because we're a fabric of America. We're the small businesses. We're growing, and this is what makes us stronger together.
Yes. And at the fact that you're offering something that's going to help them not only market better, but more cost effective, which is going to help overall their health, their well-being, and their family life as well. It all trickles down and circles. But I love what you were saying, Ernesto, too, about the fact that it's not just, okay, we're going to sign up and starting from that moment, we're going to start collecting data based on what we do. We can take a look at. So for instance, I'm targeting female entrepreneurs. I'm trying to help them with business marketing strategy. If there's somebody in this area or a similar area that's already tried it, I could take a look at their data to see how they performed and kind of use that to influence. And is this a good market for me in this area right now?
We worked with a financial planner who in the New York market was pretty big. And he would always tell me, I produced his radio show and I was also a frequent on-air personality with him. And he would look at Grant Cardone and other guys that were in the space, and he would see what they, he would form his own opinion about what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong, what he could do better. So here's someone who's successful. He had, I believe, $450 million assets under management. And he was still looking at guys like Grant Cardone just to see what they were doing. So even if you are really successful in a certain field, it's always good to look and see what, you're not going to copy them, but you are going to see like, what are they, how are they resonating? Are they resonating? And actually, and making sure that you're offering something different that's better. My former client was not going to offer the same thing as Grant Cardone. Is offering something similar, probably more comprehensive and more in-depth and more personalized, but at the same time, he was able to appreciate what someone like Grant Cardone was doing. So,
yeah. Okay.
I think it's very good. Just like you're coaching and you're trying to help them grow their business. It's important that they learn the things that you've learned, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
help those people not to make those mistakes, because we're all going to make mistakes as we grow, right? We've all been through businesses that go ups and downs, but when you have someone that's been through it and can guide you and help you through the process and make it a little less of the ups and downs is always appreciated.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, good. So then what kind of information, let's say we sign on and we've been going for like 6 months. What kind of data do I get to see to kind of understand how things are performing? I'm sure I'll get the text message or calls or, the appointment schedule, whatever it is my call to action is. But how do I know that the 50 different clients I got were based off of how many people actually were sent the message and did something with it?
So with what we do, the provenance, if we're going for foot traffic, we know the provenance of every visit. So for example, if you have an office, we can determine what ad they saw, where they saw that ad. So if they saw it on the weather app or if they saw it on ESPN, we know that they were on ESPN.com or the app, they saw your ad, and then they converted. We know what tactic, whether it was a specific geofence that we drew. On the online conversion side, we know pretty much the same information. We know what ad they saw. We know what landing page they converted on. And then, when we pixelate it, a pixelation is when we put a bit of code on either the ad or on the landing page, then we know through what method they converted. So we're able to see online conversions. And so if we were to bring that to a little higher level, any kind of advertising that you do, you really want to know ahead of time what your success is supposed to look like. You can call them KPIs, you can call them whatever, your key performance indicators. What you really want to do is know from a very high level up, what sort of success am I looking for? And therefore, I'm going to reverse engineer what methods I'm going to use to get those end results.
This is good. Yes.
Yeah. So an aspect, geofencing, if you think about it this way, is media agnostic. You can use any kind of media, audio, you can use video, you can use streaming television, you can use display ads, any kind of media that exists, we can package, even social media, we can jailbreak it. We could jailbreak your social media. We could put it in a geofencing format so that we could reach your people. The key question is what to you is a successful end result? And then, at least for us as an agency, we go backwards. We're like, okay, that's what success looks like. How do we back up and where does the starting point look like? We know what the end point looks like. Now, how do we reverse engineer this with all the tools that we were given, which is vast in the geofencing world? And then how do we go about doing that?
And we have a whole dashboard and reporting system that we really invested in. So that way, when you can actually go in to see your results, you see what ad that they saw, you see how many people came in from that ad and where they saw it and what app. And it's very data intensive, but we've streamlined it so you understand it, so you can see your results.
Okay, that's good. And I know it's important, and I know the numbers keep going higher and higher. I know, like, when I first heard this stat, it was somebody needs to see your ad 7 times before they take an action. Now it's the numbers a lot higher. So do we have the ability to see how many times somebody saw, like, I know we can't probably see data on who these people are, but if somebody saw, like you were saying, using the examples, the ad showed when they're watching ESPN, and then they were on their device and they got an ad again. Like, do we get to see that type of way? Like, okay, this person received 4 different types of ads 12 times before they actually took action.
Sure. What you're referring to, what people should keep in mind, is a process called frequency capping.
Yes.
So frequency capping is a very technical term that just means how many times do you want this ad to appear to an individual before it looks for another individual? So at the beginning of a campaign, you want to reach as many people for the budget that you have as possible. So actually, you're going to keep that number low. You can keep that number between 2 and 5, meaning you're going to ask Barbara for her business 2 to 4 times before you look to somebody else. As your strategy goes on time-wise, by week 2, if this is a brand new campaign, you can change your frequency, the amount of time you ask Barbara for business. You can change it to 7. You can change it to 14, because now you're saying, hey, I'm around. I provide the service. I know based on your...
Looked at it.
I know based on where you've been, meaning what locations you've been to, that you like services similar to mine, or I know based on the things you've read or the keywords that you typed into Bing, for example, the Microsoft platform. So based on your search terms, the things you've been reading, or your location, I know you're interested. So I'm going to increase my ask. My ask will go from 2 to 4 times to 7 to 14 times. So it's really, that's why it's actually important to work either to self-educate or to work with an agency that knows what they're doing. Particularly the smaller your budget is, the more you really actually should have the guidance of an agency, because you don't want to be wasting your money with experimentalism. You really want to know, hey,
you have to understand this field.
Yeah. So along those lines, then, if I were to, come into you and all I had was, I'm doing, business and marketing strategies, female entrepreneurs, I don't know where to go. You would be able to walk me through, okay, well, based on your target audience, some of the patterns, all that good stuff, you would help me guide and say, this is the type of geofencing ad you should be doing first, testing it here, and kind of guiding me through it, rather than waiting for me to come up with a strategy and saying, tell me what to do, we'll do it for you.
If we waited for people to come up with strategies, I don't know we'd be in business.
So that's the thing about specializing, right? Niching. We were talking before, niching. You really want to be strong in your niche. So, this is what we breathe all day long. It's location-based and interest-based communication. You can call it marketing, you can call it advertising, but what we're really doing is specializing in a form of communication. We're identifying people that share the same passion and interests and needs that you can satisfy. And that's why what we do works. And that's why you want to deal with someone who's specialized, because then they know, instead of burning through money, they know when to pivot. In fact, Barbara and I just pivoted today for one of our clients. We pulled their ads out of a certain system. We put it into a different one because
we weren't getting the results that we wanted.
Yeah.
And we're not. And the thing about Ernesto and I, we watch and we're looking and we're determining if we're not seeing the results, we're not wasting that money in that sector. We're taking it and putting in something else. It's important to do that because sometimes areas, I mean, we're in 3 countries right now. Okay, we're in Canada, we're in Australia, and all over the United States. We have clients, and different areas are affected very different, from weather to terrain to different things. And even customers, Australian, that we wouldn't market the same way we do here. It just wouldn't work. So you have to know your clientele. You have to know what you're dealing with. And we've been doing this together. And I think we've had a few areas that we had to work a little bit for, but in the end, we don't give up, do we?
No, we don't give up, but we don't waste resources.
Perfect.
I don't care how big the company is. All companies feel this way now. They're concerned that they're getting a return on their investment. So whether you're a small mom and pop operation or you're a Fortune 100 company, the need is the same. The need is to get to be the most efficient and effective and impactful as possible with what little resources you have, whether those resources are $50,000 a month as an ad spend or $1,000 a month as an ad spend. The need is the same, not to be wasteful and to be very targeted. And that's why Barbara and I are true believers in what we do, because we know that geofencing, by its very nature, is a good steward of investment or advertising money.
And we started this during COVID.
Really?
Yes, that's actually how we started, because our local businesses were closing and things that, and we wanted to help. We really wanted to help. And when this came along, I was actually looking, because I was home, I was on the road, visiting my doctors, and I was thinking of maybe laundromats, like 3. And so we were discussing that. And then we ended up looking at this information. And at first I was like, whoa, I know they know a lot about us, but I didn't know as much. I was like, whoa, I was blown away. And then I thought about it, and they never give us back anything they take away, right? So I looked at it and I said, well, if we can do good with this and build back these businesses and get their foot traffic back in, I'm in. So, it was a big step, learning curves, but I think we did pretty well.
Well, this is good. I love hearing that, for people that sign up, it's not just a sign up. You click the button, things are in motion, and the only thing I get is my, reports when I log in. Like, you guys are actively caring for these accounts. And I know my listeners are going to appreciate that, because we love that personalization. We love knowing that we're working with somebody who genuinely cares about us and we're not just another number to them. So that's appreciated. And I know a lot of my listeners are going to want to learn more information. So let's start with that. How can we learn more about you guys? And if they're ready to, start the process of signing up and getting their businesses marketing in a better way?
So our website is cullarimedia.com, cullarimedia.com. And there's videos on there. It's a pretty comprehensive website to show you kind of what we do. And there is a button on there that you can set up a call. It looks at our calendar, sees what's free. Really simple now. I like the non-friction, because we're so busy, and it pops up and on our calendar, and I'm like, okay, we have a call at that time, and it's in between everything else we're doing. We'd love to talk to you, love to sit down and see what your goals are for your business. And if we can help, we'll always be willing to help.
Awesome. I appreciate this. Now, do you have anything like specials you want to offer, or just any additional ways? I know you mentioned the website. Do you guys have a specific social media platform that you love to be on?
We have, we leverage my Instagram for a lot. I mentioned it before. It's at Ernesto Cullari. But in terms of offer, right now, not many people are aware that if you're in the services industry, that you can market your service through us on Amazon. And I say through us is because we're Amazon. We're Amazon approved. Our 2 teammates have been doing Amazon for a decade each. So
now the services can be on Amazon now, and it's a big database. And this just got opened up.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity.
for small businesses, we're setting up a new platform, so it's basically self-serve. So you should never spend less than $1,000 a month on advertising. I don't care how small your business is. I don't care if you teach Kung Fu in an elevator. You really need to be, marketing your services, at least spending $1,000 a month.
Okay.
However, with Amazon Local, by zip code, you can spend just under $1,000, and you can at least begin the conversation with your local community, so you can start educating them about what you do. And that's possible to do that in our platform that we're setting up. So you can go to our website, you can schedule a consult with us. We can let you know when our new platform goes live. It'll be a self-serve platform where we put in all the guardrails so that you can
advertise for yourself. If
Okay.
you want us help, we have, extra things that we can do for you at different charges. Mainly, you're getting yourself in there and you're starting to market for yourself. And that's huge.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. I'll definitely make sure to put that in the link so they can get that. So they have to sign up for a session with you first, and then they can be on that list for when it launches. They'll be ready to go.
Yeah. We're
Okay.
excited about it. We've been working
Yeah,
on this and
this is
putting all our
awesome.
knowledge into the systems.
And it's specifically, what we like about it, it's specifically geared towards that startup person
Yes.
who really is just starting to think about advertising and what's the best way to do it, specifically for services.
Yeah.
So Amazon is a tremendous opportunity. As I said, our guys are very well experienced in this, and, to be able to do this for under $1,000, although I told you, I did my due diligence, you're supposed to spend a lot more damn money than that.
Yeah.
But it's a very good place to start. For under $1,000 on our self-serve platform, you can start communicating, and it's the Amazon universe. So when people are there for Whole Foods, when people are there to order their home goods,
Yep.
when they're there to order
Kind of
Anything.
the price point too.
Yeah. And if they're reading books that are in a genre that you're in, the ad is triggered based on their behavior in the Amazon.
Self-help,
Yeah.
self-business.
I love it. That is awesome because Amazon is huge. So to be able to have your site, I would have never imagined in any way being able to put my services on Amazon. So I'm ready to learn more. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming and sharing all this information. I know they've definitely got a lot of good value. So if you really want what are your top 2-3 points that we talked about that you want to make sure that people leave with and do not forget? I know spending more, at least $1,000. What's number 2?
Niche.
Yeah.
Be focused, super focused on your niche.
Yeah. That whole mindset of I did my 10,000 hours for sure. But then self-education, because your industry, because people that are in your network that you're educating and collaborating with, and then you're providing them leadership and experience for that group in particular, self-education all the time. Barbara's not kidding. I spend at least 3 hours a day, if not more, on self-education and reading the news all over the world.
Nice.
And it's just a necessity. If you're going to be in business, you will never, until you start to self-educate, you won't even realize what you know and how useful it is as you're helping people address the problems that they have in their business. And the more you know, you're going to surprise yourself. So keep self-educating. And then, as Barbara was saying before, niche, perfect what you do and be a master of that genre.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
And-
Philippa.
Yeah.
Hope we connect again.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely. We will definitely stay in contact, and I would love to continue to hear all the ways that geofencing is improving over the
Let me
years.
tell you, the technology is fast and furious, and we're trying to incorporate everything we can to make sure that our businesses are on top of their game. Because as a small business, you can't do that too, right? So there has to be somewhere you can go and get that technology.
Keep paddling and keeping up with what's going on. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
you.
All right. Barbara and Ernesto, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. I know our listeners are walking away with some actionable insights and a lot of inspiration to take their sales and engagement strategies to the next level. So if you'd like to connect with Barbara Ernesto or learn more about how geofencing can transform your business, be sure to check out the links in the show notes. And don't forget that the Empower Her program does have the new self-paced program. So if you are ready to take your business to the next level and you want to do it on your pace, so at your time, this is going to be the option for you. So link for that is in the show notes as well. Thanks again for tuning in to today's episode. If you found this conversation helpful, please share it with a friend, leave us a review, and let us know what resonated with you the most. Until next time, keep building your dream business one step at a time.